What's up, everybody? Trent Denson here. Got a really awesome podcast intro for us today. This is the first episode of the Music City Experts Broker Bites with Laura Dahl here in our brand new office here in Franklin, and basically just going to be laying out what this podcast will bring to everyone and just get to the bottom of everything Laura has in store for this podcast. So, Laura, how are you today?
I'm fantastic. I'm super excited to be here and to be starting this podcast.
There you go. Yeah. So, what's the premise? What are we going to be doing? What's the mission of the pod?
So the purpose of the podcast for me was I want to share all my knowledge from 21 years selling real estate in 3 different states, growing a company of 70 agents and helping support their businesses, and being able to give our listeners some insight as to some things in this business that a lot of people don't teach you, things you got to learn the hard way, things I've learned over 20-some years, the hard way, I promise you, and make sure that I can deliver maybe just a different approach of how realtors can navigate their business.
Nice.
So I want to talk a lot about some pitfalls that agents fall into. I definitely want to cover just a different way, an elevated level of professionalism of how I've conducted my business over the last 20 years, and make sure that I teach some realtors about common things that maybe aren't so common to them, but things you definitely need to be aware of. But I definitely want to also showcase some great ideas of how to build your business, how to set some structures in place, some processes to help your business run more smoothly and effectively. And I definitely want to showcase some amazing, incredible people along the way too.
Absolutely. I can speak from firsthand experience that your training and your passion for doing all the things that you just mentioned are above and beyond anything I've ever seen while I'm here at this office, while I joined Music City Experts, all of those things, because I truly believe in your approach and how much you truly care. It is very unique, in my opinion, how you truly dive into people's lives and want them to succeed. And I know most principal brokers have that intention, and they can have hundreds of agents and all the things like that, but like the way you do it is just different. And that's why I'm really excited about doing this podcast, because I think it really will bring a lot of value to anybody that hears it, especially if they're in the real estate world and, like you said, trying to build their business, all that type of stuff. So, the whole deliberately different tagline, the Music City Experts approach to everything, is something that brought me in, and I've just been really, really amazed by it all. And it is deliberately different, and the way that you've done it and the culture that you've created here is special. So we're going to showcase that. We're going to celebrate that and all the good things that come with it. So, honestly, there's probably not a whole lot to this episode. I guess we can just, we just really want to lay the framework for what it's going to be. Like you said, just bringing value, showcasing, agents and the amazing people in this office. Like, there are some incredible, incredible agents in this office doing some really big things. So
there are. I think one of the things I'm really excited about in this podcast is for me to be able to showcase some of my agents. One of the things that makes us different is my coaching approach is not everybody's business is the same. It's not one shoe fits everybody kind of business. And one of the things that I love is getting to know my agents on a personal level, what makes them tick, the skill set that they bring from other industries into the real estate industry, and how we apply their skill set, their strengths to their real estate business. And so that's one of the things I'm really looking forward to showcasing is the uniqueness of each one of our agents, the dynamic skill set that a lot of them have, and for you guys to get to know them, like to get to know some of our agents.
That's so cool. This is going to be really cool.
Yeah.
I'm excited about it.
Me too.
So let's just go over some of the topics or some of the stuff that you've got 66 little broker bites that you've been curating over the years and all of that. So not all the spoilers, but let's get into a couple of the things we're going to be getting into.
So I think all realtors struggle with lead generation. So I definitely want to talk about how you guys can generate more leads, both organically and paid. and then how to leverage those lead generation tools that you're using to generate those. I definitely want to talk about event planning. I'm a big coacher and believer in hosting and planning events that help you grow your business, where you can extract business from the events that you plan. But there's a very specific way that you can do event planning to grow your real estate business. I love to talk and to coach agents on a yearly follow-up plan with their sphere of people or past clients. I've got some systems that you can put in place, like on closing day, that will give you a year touch plan for your clients or your sphere. But it starts on closing day, and you literally got some little nuggets that I want to share with those. One of the other things I teach as a broker is vetting and choosing your referral partners wisely.
Huge,
so I could teach a 3-hour credit course on how to vet the vendors that you work with, your home inspectors, your lenders, your title insurance. I've got lists of questions that you can ask each one of them so that you understand how it's going to look and what their process looks like, and then what your client expects. One of the topics I want to talk about is creating an exceptional experience for your client, not just an experience.
You're always really passionate about that.
Yeah,
I respect that, and it's awesome because it's so important, and a lot of folks don't go that extra mile. What's your tagline there with the extra mile?
There's always lots of room in the extra mile. There's plenty of room for everyone there because there's not very many people there. I was actually just having a conversation with one of our agents, Greg. He had a really challenging deal yesterday, and he cleaned that house himself. He paid out of his commission for some of the repairs that the seller was not willing to do. And that's not what I'm advocating for everybody to do, but the extra mile are the things that other people aren't willing to do, which is the value that you get to bring to the transaction. And so I definitely want to talk about what that looks like, what the extra mile actually looks like, eat, sleep, and breathing, the extra mile. I definitely have a lot of experience in relocation. So I want to help some agents who want to grow their relocation business. I've got some tips and tricks and kind of like pro tips on how to grow your relocation business and ways that you can do that. I have a different strategy about how I show houses that's different than other people, how to prepare for that on the front end. A lot of the things I want to teach are things that my broker never taught me, or they are things that my broker taught me. I was very fortunate to learn it from her, but a lot of brokers don't teach it. A lot of this business is OJT, on the job training, and it's drinking from a fire hose every day, where there's so much to learn. And I see new agents every day who come out of licensing, ready to take on the world. They're going to make bazillions of dollars, and they're so motivated and so excited. And that excitement lasts about 2 months, and then they start comparing themselves to every other agent in the world. They start to get down on themselves that they're not producing at the level that they thought that they would. And their motivation starts to wane, and their momentum starts to fall. And a lot of the things that I want to teach are things that are going to help you build a bulletproof kind of business to where you're going to stay motivated, you're going to stay, but you don't have to worry about comparing yourself to everyone else. Do things your way that tend to lend to your personality and your strengths, and your business is going to be just fine.
There you go.
But focus on you.
Exactly. Let's get into a little bit of your story.
Okay.
And just like how you got here, and just kind of that whole 21 years of all the stuff that comes with that in real estate.
I feel
that could be a pretty long podcast.
No, it's all right. It's all right. I'll give you the Cliff Notes version. I will tell you that I feel really old when we think about 21 years in this business, going on 22. And but my mother was a realtor, so I grew up around the business. We used to sit at the dining room table. And as a child, I would say, can't we talk about something other than real estate? Yeah. And now I do that to my children. So, I started in Virginia. I grew up in Virginia Beach, and I learned from some of the most incredible agents, I think, in Virginia. But I worked in an office that was filled with top producers. Every agent in that office was a multi-million-dollar producer. So I cut my teeth having to compete with really, really professional, top-notch agents. And I had a broker who invested a lot of time in me when I was fresh out of licensing. And I was 19 years old, so I didn't know anything. I had to work really hard to get people to trust me at 19.
Yeah, I can't imagine. That's crazy.
And I had big shoes to fill. My
Right.
mom was a great agent, and she had a reputation. And then everyone in her office, you couldn't just show up and not do anything.
Right.
So I was very fortunate that I learned a lot from her. And then I moved from Virginia to South Carolina. I'd never been there. I didn't know a single human, and I decided I was going to open my own firm. So I had gotten my broker's license in Virginia, but I wasn't in a leadership position at all. And then I moved to South Carolina, decided to open up a shingle, and I opened up a firm, and I sold that firm 3 years later to the largest Coldwell Banker franchise in the Low Country.
That's amazing.
In a declining market, which no one
what?
does. Yeah.
Yeah.
When I sold my company, I really didn't care if I ever sold real estate ever again. I was burnt out. It was
How long ago was that?
That was in 2009.
Okay. Man, what a time. Yeah, that's crazy.
It was definitely on the heels of the recession. Every buyer pool we had in Beaufort, South Carolina, had dried up. Our military buyers were being told not to buy by their COs. Our vacation rentals had dried up because everyone's portfolio was in the toilet. Our move-up buyers couldn't sell their existing house to buy something new. And so I had 44 listings of my own when I sold my company that I could not sell. And I turned into a glorified property manager because that was really the only option for a lot of these families was to rent their house out. It was a tough time for everybody. We've all bounced back from that. But real estate is very cyclical, and you will see it again, and you got to be able to pivot with it. But I was just so burnt out, and every one of those families I took very personally that if I didn't sell their house, I was in fact impacting their family, like their livelihood, their finances, strains on their marriage. And they were 44 families that I could not deliver what I needed to deliver.
So hard. I mean,
It's a lot.
It's not fair to you, but that's a lot.
It was a lot of stress. So when I sold my company, I was like, okay, buy real estate. I'm finally going to just do something else. Well, anybody who is a realtor at heart, like, you can't get away from this business.
Right.
I moved to Nashville in 2010 after a short little 10-month stint in North Carolina where I taught high school Spanish.
Nice.
My degree's in Spanish and criminal justice. So
I don't know the criminal justice part.
yeah, I was supposed to be
I'm learning things today.
I was supposed to be a federal law enforcement officer,
Is
so
that
that
right?
was the plan. But then I had a baby, so
Yeah.
who happens to be 19 years old today. So shout
happy
out
birthday.
to my Zachary. So
Happy birthday, Zach.
that's
amazing.
right. So moved to North Carolina, taught high school, kind of regrouped, and I still had business in South Carolina that was kind of trickling in over the course of that year. And then I moved to Nashville in 2010, and I worked for some amazing companies here. I worked at Benchmark and Synergy. I worked on Aaron Kruger's team. I had learned a lot and had an amazing experience working with her. And then I woke up one day, and I just decided, I've been helping other people build their businesses for the last few years, and I've done this before successfully. I think I could do this again. And so I decided I was going to open my own firm.
Nice.
And I really expected that I would maybe have a firm of 5 or 6. It would be very small, boutique.
Yeah.
We are sitting here today, 3 years later, with 70 agents.
Round of applause, man. I got a little button over there. I can't reach it now. I wish I could push that button. That's amazing.
70 agents and 2 offices, and we're getting ready to open our 3rd office in Nashville.
Cool.
So I'm very proud of what we've created and how I got here. But I will tell you that the road to my experience has been paved with a lot of pitfalls along the way, a lot of experiences, a lot of transactions that went sideways, a lot of things that could have gone really wrong. And I really just want to help other agents level up their business, do things. That's right, and do things in a different way that I think can help provide them with a little bit more stability and structure, and a little help.
Yeah.
So.
That's incredible, man. I didn't know all that. I had most of it, but didn't know all of that. So that's amazing. And like I said before, obviously you're doing something really right to have that quick of a transition from opening one office to having 3 in 3 different cities here in Middle Tennessee, and 70 agents is a big deal. Like, shouts to you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
It's really amazing to have been a part of it and watch what y'all done. And I'm pumped. Like, I'm pumped for this. I'm pumped for all the stuff to come. And it's hard to fake the passion you have. Like, you can't manufacture how much you care. And that's on that's why I'm here. So
I
I'm
appreciate
super pumped to be more involved in just on this pod side of things, content creation for Music City Experts. Really appreciate the opportunity to do that. And, I really think it's going to be fun and bring a lot of value to not only just the Music City Experts brand, but to you, your coaching, your teaching, just kind of the whole process, and being able to have that just another outlet to showcase just how special it really is. So pumped for you, pumped for this. Thank you again. Just being able to do this is a real honor, and I'm proud to be here with you and be able to do this. So thank you.
Appreciate it. Sure.
Yeah.
And I would love to hear from you guys about what you want to hear,
Yeah.
topics that you want me to cover, things that you wish you had more information about, or something that I can showcase for you. Feel free to drop me, an email at laura@musiccityexperts.com, or feel free to text me an idea for the show at 615-507-0481.
Okay.
And I look forward to hearing what you guys want to talk about.
Yeah,
So.
Music City Experts, Broker Bites podcast, episode 1. Just laying down the foundation for everything. We're going to be doing these weekly, Lord willing, all of that type of stuff. But just having that baseline of like what this is really about, I think is always really important to put out there first. But big things on deck, and it's going to be really fun to do it all and get some of these amazing agents on here and just showcase what makes Music City Experts deliberately different, because we are, and it's an amazing company, and super proud to be involved. So thank you, Laura.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Quick. That's good though.
So,
You feel good?
yeah.
And then just having. Are we gonna go with 11:30?
Let's do a check here.
11:30 as like the weekly
Yeah.
time.
That works for me. It's probably